Okay, guys, in this lesson, we're going to learn how to apply percents. We're going to learn how to determine the tax, tip, gratuity, markup, markdown, and simple interest. So, first of all, let's define what these words mean. So, there are a wide variety of applications using percents. And in the previous lesson, we learned how to calculate the percent of a number. Commission, gratuity, and tip is money earned at the end of a sale. Money earned at the end of a sale. So, for example, commission typically is referred to someone that sells real estate or properties or someone that sells products for a company. They typically earn a percentage of the total amount of sales, and that's how they get paid. Gratuity and tip typically is used as a server at a restaurant. So, at the end of a server's shift, they earn a percentage of the total amount of food that they sold. Sales tax is money paid to the government for each sale. So when we buy food, clothes, shoes, anything, we have to pay for those items plus a percentage of the sale, and that percentage amount goes to the government. Discount and markdown is money taken off the original amount. So if we go to a store that's having a sale, they will take a percentage of the original amount and subtract that for the final price. Markup is money added to the original price. So if you are a retailer, a store owner, and you buy products for your store, you are going to mark them up so you can make a profit. Simple interest is money earned on an investment or money paid back on a loan. And we'll talk more about simple interest later. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about how we are going to solve these real life situations. We can still apply the proportion that we learned in the previous lesson, but there is another way we can solve these with a horizontal equation. So the equation is the percent equation is part equals rate times the whole. So part of the total is calculated by multiplying the rate times the original amount. And our rate must be in decimal form. So let's just recall how to convert a percentage into a decimal. So we recall that a percent is based out of 100. So this is 12 divided by 100, which simply just moves your decimal 2 places to the left. So 12% as a decimal is 0.12 or 12 hundredths. 0.12% is going to be 0.12 or 12 hundredths divided by 100. So again, we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left. So 0.12% is also 0.0012. So we're going to keep this equation in mind as we solve these. So let's take a look at our first example. The discount on a bike is 25% off. We want to know what is the sell price if the bike retails or is originally $120. So we have the rate and we have the original whole amount. So our rate is going to be converted to 0.25. We're going to be looking for the part, which is the amount that's going to be discounted. And the original whole price is $120. So the way we're going to set up our equation is we got to find the part, how much is going to be taken off to get the final sell price. So X is the part we're looking for. Our rate is 0.25, and we're taking 25% of the original price, which is $120. So we simply just have to calculate this using our calculator. And when we multiply to get X equals 30, which is $30. Now the question is, what is the amount of the bike at the end of the sale? So we're going to subtract the 30 from the original, and the actual sell price is $90 for the bicycle. So 25% of 120 is 30, which is the discount amount, and then the final sell price is $90. Jen earns 20% gratuity for waiting tables at the restaurant. How much does she earn when her total food sales is $1,873.45? So we want to know, how much is she going to earn? She gets a gratuity or a commission of 20% of $1,873.45. The rate is going to be 0.20, and we're looking for the part, the percentage of the total sales. So our equation is part is equal to the rate times the total. And now we simply have to calculate by multiplying. So when we multiply this, we're going to get $374.69. And we do not need to add or subtract this from the original. This is the actual amount that she earns. So she gets $374.69. Sam bought an iPhone that lists for $1,200. The total final cost, including tax, is $1,284. What is the sales tax rate? So we're looking for the rate. The total of the original phone before having to pay tax is $1,200. $84 is the part that's included in the sales tax itself. So Sam has to pay for the phone plus pay the government the $84 in tax. And we want to find out what is the rate of $1,200 that equals $84. So we have $84 is equal to some rate times the original amount of the phone. So now we're not going to simply multiply like we have in the previous two examples. We have to isolate X. So we're going to apply our algebra properties. We're going to undo this multiplication to isolate x, and we're going to divide both sides by 1200. When we do this, we get 0.07. And as I write my answer, I'm simply going to write it as a percentage. So $84 is 7% of 1200. The markup rate for a tractor that costs $18,600 is 12%. What is the cost of the tractor after the markup? So first of all, we know that the markup rate for a tractor is $18,600. That's the original whole price. The rate is going to be written as 0.12. We are looking for the part. We are looking for 12% of the cost of the tractor. And then we'll go back at the end and reread the question. So we have the part is equal to our rate times the original price of the tractor. And when we multiply this to find X, we're going to get $2,232. So the tractor at the store is going to be the cost of the store owner, which he paid $18,600, plus he's going to mark it up to make a profit. His profit will be the $2,232. So we are going to add these two together because this is a markup. And when we add this, we simply get $20,832. So a markup is when we're going to be adding to the original total. Bruce earns 16.4% commission selling properties. What is the property value with a commission of $79,704? So we have our rate. We're going to convert it to a decimal, moving the decimal 2 places to the left. The commission is $79,704. We want to know the original amount of the property sales, which is going to be the whole. Our part is $79,704. Our rate is 0.164, and we're looking for what the property sales was. So another way we can say this is we could say 16.4% of what is equal to the commission of $79,704. So again, we're going to apply our algebra properties of isolating our variable x. We're going to use the inverse operation of multiplication, which is going to be division. We're going to divide both sides by 0.164. And when we divide this, x is equal to 486,000. And that is the answer to the actual question. What is the property value? So 79,704 is 16.4% of $486. Gretchen bought a pair of shoes that listed for $89. Sales tax is 5.5%. How much did she pay in all? The shoes originally are $89, so she has to pay for the shoes. She also has to pay sales tax, which is 0.055. We want to know how much sales tax she has to pay in addition to the $89 pair of shoes. So we have X equals 0.055 times 89. So this time X is already isolated, so we simply just have to apply the operation of multiplication, and we get 4.895. We're going to round that since we're talking about money. We're going to round that to the hundredth, so this is going to be considered $4.90. So she's going to pay $89 for the shoes, plus the sales tax to the government. So she is going to pay $93.90 in all. Okay, pause the video, complete 1 through 6, and then we'll talk about simple interest, and then you complete those problems. And then it's super important to make sure when the answer key is revealed after you submit your work that you check off your answers and make any corrections before going on to the concept check. Okay, now let's talk about simple interest. Interest is the amount of money paid or earned for the use of money paid by a bank or other financial institutions. So if you borrow money, you have to pay that money back plus a percent in interest. If you invest money, you have your original amount plus the amount of interest that your money has earned. So if you borrow money, interest is paid. So you have to pay the money back plus interest. For saving money, such as savings accounts, investments, etc., interest is earned. Below is the formula for simple interest. Is compound interest is another common interest, but we're going to speak about simple interest. So it's I equals P times R times T. So this will be the equation we will use for this part of the lesson. So I is our interest. P is the original amount that you borrowed or the original amount that you invested. So this is the principal. Rate is the R, and again, it's going to be written as a decimal. And T is for time, the amount of time that you have borrowed or invested, and it is calculated in years. Let's take a look at an example. Jack invested $25,000 at a rate of 16%. What will be his total amount in 8 years? So let's write out interest equals our principal times the rate times the time. Let's write out our equation. I always like to have my equation written in front of me, and we have it right here as well. But for this example, we want the total amount that he is going to have in 8 years. So we're going to take the total amount is going to be the principal plus his interest that he earns in 8 years. The principal is $25,000. The rate is going to be 0.16, and he is going to invest in 8 years. So the total amount of interest is 25,000 times 0.16 times 8. So we just simply have to calculate straight across, multiplying, and we get $32,000. Now the question is, what will be his total amount in 8 years? So he still has his investment amount plus the interest that he earned, and 16% is a fantastic rate, obviously. So the total amount is $57,000. So he more than doubled the original amount that he had, his principal. Okay, guys, so finish up these questions. And as we said earlier, make sure you check and make any corrections once the answer key is revealed. And I hope this helped.